didn't you have to know the last term?
Yeah.
Okay, notice this one. Do you need to know the last term for a geometric? No. All you need is the first term. You need the ratio still, which if you don't know it, it's always second subtract first, or third subtract second, and so on and so forth. N stands for the number of terms, and S stands for sum. Is everybody okay there? Now, since it is geometric, what I bet about half of you did it the common sense way, where you just found the, and others use the formula. The same thing is true. You can use the formula, or you can do common sense. Because they're going to ask you to find the sum of very many, okay? So first example, and we're going to do it both ways. Okay, so first we'll do it by the formula. And then we'll do it by the common sense way. And you guys can have a choice of which way you want to do it. So sum's going to equal, what's the first term?
4.
So 4 goes into the formula first. 1 minus, and this is always a 1. The ratio is what?
1/3.
And it's going to be raised to what power?
6.
Over 1 minus the ratio. So I have 4 parentheses. And remember, you follow the order of operations. So don't you have to raise to a power first before you can subtract? So, and again, you don't want to use your calculator and use your, you might get decimals that aren't going to be pleasant. This one would be an example of 1. So I do 1 at a time. What's 1 to the 6th power? 1. And then what's 3 to the 6th power? Now 729, right? Over on the bottom, what's 1 minus a third? 2/3. Now, inside the parentheses, can't we subtract them now? What does 1 really become? Since I want to subtract 1 729. Does it end up being 729 over 729? Don't I need it to be the same denominator? So 729 over 729.
How do you do that?
You need a common denominator when you subtract or add, right?
What?
When you add or subtract fractions, don't you have to have a common denominator? So that's what we want to change the 1 to 729 over 729. So 729 minus 1 is 728. And usually at this stage, I go ahead and put the 4 or whatever this number is over 1 if I need to. And what's it mean when you divide?
You multiply that with
Right, so I want to change 2/3 to 3/2. So I get it all done at once.
Wait, what?
Okay, the 4, I just put 4 over 1, so it's in a fraction form. 1 minus 1 over 729 is 728 over 729. This says divide, and when you divide, do you invert and multiply? Okay, now, what can we cross cancel there to make things nicer? I know 3 goes into 729, what, 80?
1.
No? 243.
Yeah, 2
Okay, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. So I think that's it. So what's 728 times 2? 1456.
Yes.
Over 243. Is everybody agreeable there? Now, just for the sake of, so when we do the other method, we have a comparable answer. Take 1456 divided by 243 and tell me what it is a mixed number is what I want.
It rounds up to 6.
No, I don't mean that. If I take 1456 divided by 243, how many times? 5? So what's 5 times 243? 1215? So it would be 5 and a remainder of 241 over 243. Everybody understand what I'm saying there? I'm writing it as a mixed number because that may be the way that you do it by the common sense way here in just a minute. So either one of those would be applicable to your answer. Okay, now that's by the formula. So this is formula. And now we're going to do common sense. If I have the first term as 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that means I got to find 6 of them, right? So what do I do to find those 6 terms?
Times by 1/3.
Multiply by my ratio, and my ratio is
1/3.
1. So what's 4 times 1/3?
4/3.
What's 4/3 times 1/3?
49.
Then 4 27ths, 4 81st, and 480 over 243. They're very agreeable there. I just multiplied every term by 1/3 to get what came next. This is the common sense way if you want to use it. Now, what would I do? I would first change 4/3 to 1 1/3. Everybody follow that? So 4 plus 1 is, I got 5 1/3. I got 4 9ths. I may not have room here, but I'll try to. 4 over 81 and 4 over 243. In order to add fractions, you gotta get a,
What do you write in?
I'm just putting all these numbers down
Did you
and I'm
add
gonna add them.
Did you add the first two already?
I already added those two together, so that's a safe step. So my common denominator is 243. Okay. The common sense way may take longer if there are fractions involved than the use of the formula, just so you know. But that way you haven't, you can do either, whichever you prefer here. So now, what would I do, what do I take times 3 to get 243? Oh, these are all over 4.
I don't know.
That'd be 81. What do you take times 9 to get 243?
I haven't written any of this.
Okay,
27.
so somebody tell me what 27 times 4 is. I'm gonna wait a little bit for Nicholas to get written down. You guys see what you can do, so you guys can go ahead and do it on your own paper, but you'll say 27 goes to that and multiply, just like you would to add or subtract fractions. So basically, 5th grade math at this point in time. Probably larger fractions though than you had to work with there. Okay, you ready? Now, how many times did 27 go in 243? Somebody have it?
36.
27 was 36?
Yeah.
Then what's 36 times 4?
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
Oh, times 9.
Oh, it's times 9? Oh, so it's 36.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was reading that one.
That one was times 3, so this would be 12. Anybody get that one? And that one's already 243, so it's 4. Now, somebody tell me what those add up to be. What's 81, 108, 36? That doesn't look like a 36, but you can fix it. And did we get the same thing?
Yeah.
8, 108, 36, 12, and 4 added up to be 241, which ends up being the same answer. Okay? Another one. You guys got the formula down, right? Notice I didn't give you very many problems today, because they could take a little bit of time to do with either method, technically, because of fractions. Okay, this time. Since my ratio is a nice number, I'm going to have more numbers. I'm going to have n equals 8. So the first thing we're going to do is the formula. And again, I'm going to show both methods, that way you can use whichever one you're more comfortable with. So in the formula, the first thing you ask for is what is the first term? What is my first term?
-5.
Then it's 1 minus, what's your ratio?
2
To the 8th power, over 1 minus your ratio. So all I did was put this information into the formula. A sub 1 always goes there, then it's 1 minus this Sarah. Yes, she is. Okay. Mrs. Jones, your husband's on line 1. Okay, has everybody got this put into the formula? Okay, so we have to do raising to a power first. Can you reach it? Yeah. What's 2 to the 8th? Somebody tell me what that is.
256.
Hello?
And 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. Okay, now, inside the parentheses, what's 1 minus 256?
-255.
Hello?
Did you lose them?
Yeah.
Why? Go ahead and call them out. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 negatives is gonna be a negative answer?
And
And,
go to the office.
okay, that works. What's 5 times 255 then for my answer?
1275.
1275, anybody else get that?
I've got this down.
Okay, now, that's the formula way, where you took the first term times 1 minus 2 to the 8th power, and on the bottom 1 minus 2,
Is that times the negative 255?
yes. Because 1 minus 256 is a negative 255. So we ended up with negative 1275 for our answer. Now, let's do it the good old fashioned way. How many blanks do I have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My first blank's a negative 5. If the ratio's 2, what would be the next number?
-10.
Next one?
-20.
Next? 40? 80? 160? 320? 640? Now what do you have to do? This is not going to be too bad to add because it's not fractions. So what do all those add up to be? And if you use this method, aren't you really checking your answer?
Yeah.
I'm hoping 1275.
1275.
Okay, did everybody come up with 1275? And all it was adding it on your calculator. Okay, another one?
You mean negative?
Yes, it would be negative. One more with fractions?
No. Sure, why not?
There we go, I like that.
Oh, no.
Don't have to write this one down, you guys just have to work it with me. So this time, let's not have as many terms. Let's go, A is 3. Let's make the ratio be a negative 1/4, and N is gonna equal 5. Okay, so first by the formula, what do I do?
First one's 3, and then parentheses 1 minus -1/4 to the 5th power over 1 minus 1/4.
Negative 1/4?
Yeah.
Okay, now here's tricky. Because what's a negative 1 to the 5th power? Don't I have to do that first?
-1.
It's a negative 1. What's 4 to the 5th power? That's 1024, I believe. And on the bottom, 1 minus a negative 1/4 is a positive 1 1/4, and I'm going to go ahead and write it 5/4 because I know I have to invert and multiply. Now, 2 negatives up here make a, and 1, isn't it 1024 over 1024?
1025 over 1024.
And it's times 3, and then it'll be times the reciprocal of 5/4. 4 cancels 1024 to what? 256? 5 cancels 1025 to 205?
Yep.
Let's see, I think that's it. So 3 times that would be 615 over 256. Now, since we're going to do it the other way, we may want to go ahead and make it a mixed number. So what's 615 divided by 256? What is that?
2.4.
Well, it's 2. What's 2 times? Oh, I guess I'll do it the good old-fashioned way. 512? 103? So 2 and 103 over 256? Now, if we did it the blank method, there's 5 blanks. The first blank's 3. The second one you multiply by negative 1/4 is a negative. Multiplied by negative 1/4 would be a positive 3/16. Multiplied by negative 1/4 would be negative 3/64. And the last one would be 2 256?
Okay,
Okay, so I'm just gonna remember I add 3 at the end. So I have a -3/4, a +3/16, -3/64, and 3 over 256. What's my common denominator gonna be?
256.
Yeah, so you guys help me out. How many times 4 go into 256? 64 times 3 then is what? 192?
Yeah, like,
16 goes into 256, what, 16? So times 3 would be 48. 64 goes into 256, 4. So times 3 is a -12. And that would just be 3. Now, what's that add up to be? I've got a -192, 48, a -12, and 3. Well, that's 51. And that's 214, I think. 14 third 1, yep. And so I'd subtract and get 163 negative. So I got a -163 over 256, and I need to add it to 3. So in order to do that, then I have to subtract. So I have 3 subtract 163 over 256. Gotta borrow 1. When I borrow 256 over 256. So I get 2, unless I'm, no, that's 3. Something's wrong. I'm not gonna get the same thing unless I add it wrong over here.
I got 153.
Oh, there's 153, there's the problem. 153, then it works out fine. And then we get the same answer. Okay, you guys follow what you're doing today?
Yep.
Okay, so 15 through, what was it, 22?
22.
Now, just to recap, Monday, you're gonna do chapter 11 test. There's not gonna be any review, but these formulas are gonna be on the board, plus I'm gonna have Mr. Sanders give you a sheet that also has that same information on it and some examples. Monday, your notebooks are gonna do, make sure you continue the sequence of whatever the order was I gave you. You've added all the ones that you've done since then in order. And those you'll hand in on Tuesday. Tuesday will also start the review for your final. Okay, if you guys